Hi, everybody. I'm going to let everybody take a second to sit down, but in the meantime, I will introduce myself. My name is Nika. I am with Creative Family Connections. We are a surrogacy agency and law firm out of Chevy Chase, Maryland, but we work with intended parents all over the world. We are a small boutique agency and law firm. We consider ourselves to be a one-stop shop for your surrogacy needs. And as you can see here, our owner and founder, Diane Hinton, is the creator of the surrogacy map. You guys may have seen this already in your research. Diane came up with this many, many years ago to help guide you through the very complex legal that is surrogacy, right? Because as you can see here, surrogacy is not legal the same way across the United States. So we want to make sure, number one, our first and foremost, our plan is to make sure that you guys are matched with the surrogate in your estate that you can legally work with. That's our number one, most top priority. However, secondary right here is your personalities. And we do preference and personality matching, and that's what I'm going to talk to you most about today. I'm standing in front of you wearing two metaphorical hats because I am the recruiting and matching coordinator with CFC. I onboard surrogates from their application all the way through your introductory meeting with them. But I also am here as a CFC surrogate myself. I delivered for a couple in Australia, two dads in Australia in 2021, and I am here to share with you my experience as well. So if you would like to speak to me about my personal experience as a surrogate, I'm an open book. Please swing by our table, and I'm happy to share that with you as well. We are extremely, extremely picky about our surrogates, and some people might say to me, you were a surrogate, maybe you're a little more lenient on them. I'm not. Because I know what it takes to be a surrogate. I know the intricacies, the ins and outs, I know the responsibilities, and I understand the process and what it takes. And so I'm not going to let anybody carry your baby that I wouldn't let carry my own. That is number one for us, is trust. We are going to find you a surrogate that you can trust to carry your baby. This process is so complicated, so complicated. I'm sure you know a lot of you are here for the first time just starting your journey. And there are so many providers here, and there's so much information, and there are words and phrases that you may never even heard of before. But we guide you through all of that from start to finish. We are not an IVF clinic, so we do not do the medical, but we work very closely with your IVF clinic to make sure that you are on track, you are making embryos. We can help you as a law firm with your contract with your egg donor. We do your surrogacy contract with your surrogate. We help you with parentage. We are literally one-stop shop for you to try to take some of the pain and confusion out of the process, because we understand that this is a huge life-changing event for you guys, and you're here to make it as easy as possible for you. So like I said, we are a small boutique agency. What that means for you is that you get our attention. We keep our cases limited so that we know that we can give you the attention you need, because this process, we're not going to just match you with a surrogate. We're not just going to be like, here you go, we found you a surrogate, good luck, we wish you the best. What we're going to do is we're going to hold your hand through the entire process from the moment you sign on with us all the way through 7 months post-birth to make sure all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, all the bills are paid, and you and your surrogate are happy, healthy, and your baby is happy and healthy. So that is really, we're hand-holding, we're here for you, we call ourselves high touch, because we literally are with you all the way through the process from start to finish. We are currently ranked number one for surrogacy advisors, and that is a review. Our intended parents do those reviews for us, and that we like to attest to the fact that they had beautiful journeys and they put their trust in us, right? You're not going to be able to be in your surrogate's house 24/7, making sure she's doing all of the right things, right? Nobody can do that. It's not possible. So what we do is we find you that surrogate that you don't feel like you have to be. We make sure that she is background checked. We make sure that she is financially checked. We do references. We do in-home visits. We used to actually go to her home before COVID. We would fly out to her home and do an actual visit to her home. Now it's via Zoom because COVID, thank you very much. But we still are doing her references. We're talking to her family, her friends. We are finding out how her last pregnancies went. We are collecting all of her medical records, sending them to your clinic, making sure that they're medically pre-approving her before you move forward. And all of this, at the end of the day, when we make our match for you, we are making sure she might be great on paper. She might be your perfect match, but she might not be yours. And we are not just going to shove a surrogate at you because you're next in line. Because we want to make sure you guys are going to be together for a long time in this process. It is not a short process, and we're hoping it's a lifelong relationship that you have with your surrogate. So we want to make sure that you guys are aligned on all of the really, really important issues that maybe people don't like to talk about. Things about, what do we do if there's a problem and we have to look at termination? We talk about all of that with her so that you guys don't have to have that hard conversation. We have it for you. And we make sure all the way through the process, all of your preferences meet her preferences so that you guys can have the most seamless journey possible. There won't ever be any concerns, questions, confusion. Oh, I thought you wanted this, we wanted this. None of that. We eliminate all of it. And we also work to make it so you guys are her cheerleader all the way through. If you have a problem, you come to us. And then we can play bad cop if we have to. We rarely have to, but it does happen on occasion because we're dealing with humans. And then same thing though, if she has an issue, she comes to us. So that way you guys can keep your relationship beautiful throughout the whole process. It's very, very important to us that you guys have a good relationship with your surrogate. Myself as a surrogate knows how important that is to be able to communicate with the intended parents. Some people want a business relationship. There are people, intended parents, surrogates, that want that. So we match them. And then there are people who want to be involved. They want pictures. They want to be at appointments. They want that kind of relationship. And those surrogates, like me, that's what we want too. We want to send you belly pictures, and we want to have you, on the phone or in person at appointments if you can. And we don't want to match you with the opposite because that's not going to be a good relationship at the end of the day. And like I said, legal's always number one. This is really where we stand on legal. We make sure that it works for you. Whatever state you live in, whatever state she lives in, we make sure that it works, right? But right here, literally right here, if the legal works, that's great. But if the personality doesn't, that's not going to be a good match for us. And that does put us, we are at 99% for matching rates. Occasionally we'll match you with someone and you don't get a good vibe. We don't force a match. We'll find you another match. But it's very rare that we have this situation because we like to think that the time that we take to make these matches, to vet these surrogates, we were making the right match for you because we get to know you guys. We get to know them, we get to know you. From day one, you meet with someone for your prospective client meeting. We learn a lot about you. We ask you a whole lot of questions that maybe you didn't think about before coming into this process. Like, do I care what religion my surrogate is? Do I care if she has a partner? What do we want to do in case we're faced with a terminations decision for Down syndrome or for catastrophic? What are all these questions? Are we okay if she has guns in her home? These are the things that we ask you guys so that we can not have any surprises at the end of the day when you get a surrogate package and you say, hey, what is this? We didn't expect this. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you say if she has guns in her home?
Guns.
Oh, guns.
Yes, nuns. That would also be a good one. I would point that out on a package for sure if she had nuns in her home. They would be background checked. They would be background checked as well.
You talked about Zooms, not home visits anymore. Are you planning on going back to home visits?
Not at this time, especially now that COVID's kind of still trying to not go away entirely. We're sticking with Zoom, but we are very thorough on Zoom. And I know it kind of sounds like maybe it's not as thorough, but we actually make them, some people do it on their laptops, and I always feel bad. I think I'm going to start asking them to do it on their phone because they'll literally just be like taking their laptops through their house like this awkwardly so that we can see all the rooms in the house. And we're actually looking through things like, are the walls dirty from smoke damage? Like those are the kind of things that we're looking for in the house. We ask a lot, so to kind of offset the fact that we're not doing in-homes anymore, we're very, very in-depth in our references. And we talk to a friend of theirs and also a family member, and mom is the one that we like to talk to the most, because if mom, first of all, doesn't think it's a good fit for her daughter, she is not going to hold back. She is going to tell us. And the other thing too is that she likes to talk a lot. Moms love talking about their kids, and she will tell us everything. If that husband smokes in the house, she is going to tell us that she doesn't like it, but she's going to tell us about it. So we make sure that we're very in-depth with our references to try to kind of combat the fact that we don't actually physically go into the home anymore.
And you mentioned financial checks. What exactly do you mean?
Yes, so oh my gosh, don't make me get my soapbox out, because I will tell you, we want to make sure that your surrogate is doing this for the right reasons. And part of that, you guys have probably heard of ASRM, the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. They have guidelines. There's no laws surrounding surrogacy overall through the nation, so they created these guidelines for who we should be looking for when we're looking at surrogates. And we are making sure that your surrogate makes enough money to make sure that she doesn't feel like she has to do this. Because if we run financial checks and we see that she has all of these unpaid doctor's bills or credit cards that, or she's declared bankruptcy, she's clearly in a bad financial situation. And as much as she might be a wonderful person and she'd probably be a really great surrogate, where is the line? Where is the ethical line between I have to do this and I want to do this. And we never want to put somebody in a situation where they feel like they have to. So I carry my surrogacy ethics soapbox around with me everywhere I go because this is really important to me. My heart breaks for girls like that, for women like that, where they kind of find themselves in that position. But at what point are we looking then at, baby selling versus surrogacy? So we are very, very careful. We are very cautious. We actually caught something the other day where she didn't have anything on her financial record, but she had like 7 tickets for not driving with an unregistered car and not having insurance. Why aren't you paying for your insurance? Are you in a financial position that you can't? So these are the things that we're checking. These are we're doing all of these checks before she even gets to you as a potential match.
And are you doing those checks on the spouse as
Yes.
well? Or, okay, so
Yep, spouse and surrogate. Yep, and I've told a few of you because I've talked to you in the room. Before this, I was a financial investigator. So what I do is I also run a negative news search on all of my surrogate candidates. I find their Facebooks, Instagrams, I find their Snapchats, I find any news stories that were about them in the last 10 years. Spouses too. So we do all of that extreme vetting before we even consider them to be a candidate in our program. So as you can see, trust is very important to us. We want to make sure that she's doing this for the right reasons, that she is passionate about helping you guys make your families. It's really, really important to us. I'm happy to take more questions. I'm okay with the Q&A on here.
Quick one.
Yeah.
So in the legal session before, they talked about the different states have, pre-birth and post-birth parentage orders. Obviously, it's color-coded on the screen here. They said, their opinion was, hey, that shouldn't be the determination of, which surrogate you could go with. Do you have a different take on that, or is...
No, I don't. I really don't. So here's the thing. It's all about your comfort level. So some people come to us and they say, we want our legal to be as easy as possible. We want pre-birth state. We want to sign some paperwork and we want to be done and we don't have to worry about it, right? That's pre-birth. I'm in Connecticut. I was a surrogate. My husband and I literally just went to the bank, signed some papers in front of a notary, and we weren't the parents legally and they were. And it was wonderful. Very easy. You know what I mean? So that's great for people who are looking for that. If you're a little bit more open to a post-birth situation, post-birth just means it's after the baby is born. It doesn't mean that it's a complicated, difficult process necessarily. Are some states more complicated? Yes. Are orange states? They're going to be more complicated, But there are so many different levels and degrees of legality and how it works because it is not regulated the same way. But the nice thing about us being a law firm is that you get all of that information in advance of your match. So you are going to know before you're matched with her, not only what state she is from, what that means for you specifically. So where you're from is going to be on there, and it's going to say, intended parents who are using donor egg and own sperm in this state, and what that means legally for your surrogate who also lives in this state. And not only do we do that now because of the Dobbs decision, we also talk about the termination laws in her state and what that means for a surrogacy journey as well, because we want to cover all of our bases. Obviously, we hope that never has to be part of your journey, but we want to make sure that in case it does, we have covered everything in advance so there are no surprises. So while I agree that yes, can pre-birth be great? Sure is. Like I said, I went to the bank, I signed paperwork, I was done. I didn't have to worry about parentage anymore. I didn't have to go to a court. I didn't have to talk to anybody, nothing. I just signed paperwork. But as long as you're open to a little bit more paperwork, a little bit more steps, your surrogate in Tennessee is still going to be great. You know what I mean, for you. It's just, just about what kind of process you're looking for. But we, like I said, lay all of that out for you in advance so it's not a surprise. You're never going to be like, oh, I thought that it was going to be this or that, because you're going to know in advance what the legal is for your specific surrogate and her state. So let's see. The other thing I really want to touch on is about our support, and that's a really big thing. I can tell you about this both from our perspective as an agency, but also as a surrogate, because even though I had already gone through and I knew our process and I knew what had to be done, I relied very heavily on my journey coordinator, which is a service that we provide once you are matched. Well, actually, now you meet your journey coordinator right when you sign on with us. And she waits with you while you're waiting with the surrogate. She touches back with you, keeps updated, checks on you, sees how your progress is going. But she really shines once you guys are officially matched. And I think that it's one of the best things that we offer, because she will be there for you from day one. She will hold your hand. She will be like, she has an appointment now. She's going to do this. You're never questioning. You're never confused. You never are not aware of where you are in the process, because your journey coordinator is keeping that steady and going for you at all times. They'll do your birth plan, which is not the same as submitting a court order to your hospital, so they know that it's a surrogacy. It is a literal birth plan that will say the intended parents are allowed to be in the room. The surrogate's okay with this. This is what she's looking for. You know, we're allowed to take pictures from here, but not here. You know, there's a lot of different things that go into it, and I found it to be, like, I delivered at Yale New Haven Hospital, which is an awesome hospital, obviously, but it was so helpful that they were given this information in advance by my case manager. There were no questions, no surprises for my intended parents or for me. So I think that that's really the biggest part, like a huge part of what we offer as an agency is our journey coordination. So when you're looking at agencies, consider that. Do they just match you and say, good luck, we wish you the best, here's your phone number, try to figure it out? Because we do actual meetings with you and your surrogate. We call it a supervised first date because it's a little awkward, but we're there to help you through all the awkwardness and make sure that you guys talk about all the important things that need to be done and what's next. So really important, just find out from who you're talking to, what do you do, what happens after you're matched? Where are you, what do you guys do once we're matched? Because it's so important to have somebody that is going to support you all the way through. And like I said, we also are with you post-birth, making sure the surrogate's good, making sure all of her bills are paid, making sure you guys are good, clearing out all of your accounts, taking care of everything, wrapping it all up for you because you guys are going to be busy and you're not going to be sleeping a lot and you're going to be really tired because you're going to have a brand new baby and you're not going to want to think about all of these things. So we think about those things for you. All right, I think I have a minute left. I'm happy to answer any questions. We are up on the floor. Please feel free to come by and talk to us. Like I said, I am a surrogate. I am an open book, probably TMI sometimes, but I love to share my experience. People hate me at family parties because this is what I talk about at family parties too. So this is really what I believe in. This is what I love. I love our company, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you guys very much.